Welcome in to the Washed Up Walk-Ons Podcast. Kevin Ward, Grant Allen, and myself bringing you another fabulous year of Hawkeye content in 2026. It's been a while since we had Grant on the show. We're going to catch up on the bowl game, what he thought about Iowa's victory over the Commodores. A lot has happened in the football world since we all were together. The playoff is now down to 4. We'll talk a little bit about that. The portal is wide open. Players are flooding in and out, and we're just excited to be here. So, Grant, how was Christmas, man?
It's good. Yeah, a little bit of a break from the internet world for a while there. Somewhat on purpose, and somewhat also just scheduling is difficult. I don't know why we're doing podcasts on Thursdays now. A little surprising there. Wasn't ready for that. Haven't done a podcast on a Thursday in 3 years, but all of a sudden, we're doing podcasts on Thursdays now, and we're getting. When me and Kevin are surprised by that, apparently it's a huge deal. So there's that. But it was good though. Did you guys have a good Christmas?
I did.
Good holidays, New Year's.
I did, yeah.
I kind of hate New Year's, but outside of football, it's just a weird holiday. I feel like there's a lot going on. I guess I don't know.
It feels like just the extension of Christmas.
Yeah, it's always like, I guess in terms of like a going out aspect, it's a little bit like chaotic. You know, if you want to go to your normal bar, you know, all of a sudden it's $100. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore. It's just, I don't know.
There was a local bar here in Waukee or in Des Moines, I think. Lauren read me a little advertisement for it. That was like $100 cover, but free drinks and food.
Okay.
The entire night.
Like any kind of drinks?
Drinks, any food.
That sounds like a challenge. It's like, hey, you pay $100. You can drink as much as you want.
How many of these margaritas?
I mean, could you show up there at like 5:00 in the afternoon, or like,
show up at 11 a.m.
Kevin's there at open 3 p.m. I was unaware of the extra details. She just kind of read me those front-facing stipulations, and I was like, yeah, it seems like a good deal. Most people are gonna definitely drink. I mean, you take into account what cover is on a New Year's Eve anyway, and then you take into account what a lot of people are gonna drink financially, and that'll cover it. That'll do it.
Mixed drinks like $10 anywhere you go these days.
Yeah, or more.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go out, Grant? You stay up you watched the ball?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, no, I just did hung out with some friends. We kept it out of the Dallas craziness a little bit, but no, I had a good little extended weekend. Felt like there was like 3 Sundays this weekend. It was kind of weird, but the past week, I guess, because I don't know, work's a little slower, and football or whatnot. A lot of downtime was good. Like on let's see, I called it Sunday. I guess this is Thursday now. I was I think I set a record for like under 500 steps. Like
that's hard.
Like I was kind of similar to. I know this is our own group text stuff. I had some kind of plans made for watching the games or whatnot, and I was hosting it, and I just picked one spot on the couch and just never gave up. I wasn't a quitter.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Is there a
you hosted and you still you just like sat on the couch all day, like you didn't have any like
food's on the table, drinks in the fridge.
This is a 23-year-old hosting other 23-year-olds for games. And like I live in an apartment. My couch is a large percentage of the square foot. So it's not like, oh, everyone's in the other room while I'm watching. Like I could sit there. I'm still being the gracious host. We call this This is known as the Taj Mahal over here. It's where the ball gets
Taj Mahal. How many TVs we got going?
We got 2 right now. 2, I think 2 does the justice.
That's all.
I think 3 would be like, we only would have to break out the third like iPad or something if it's like, okay, there's one game on like Peacock for some reason, and then there's another game on like Telemundo, which isn't going to be in the quad box. Like it's kind of.
Oh, you'll break the third out for when March Madness rolls around.
Yeah, definitely. Except March Madness is pretty good in terms of the streaming services. Like they got it down to a science now.
Yeah,
a little bit there. Especially they broke out they have their own like red zone now on the NCAA website.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That I don't know. It's called like Full Court Press or something, but it was like 3 years ago they tried it out. It was a little iffy, but it's gotten better each year. So
Well, they usually do a good job of staggering the game. So it's like you finish one game, you go to the last 5 minutes of the next game, the last 5 minutes of the next game, the last.
yeah, like there's a waterfall aspect to March Madness.
Yeah.
Certainly.
You get hit hard on that first Thursday, Friday. It's like
I know. I'm hoping and praying right now that like some of it changes around, and I have no idea how they decide the cities. I did not get that. I missed that lesson in bracketology school, but there's a lot of projections that say Iowa's going to be in Oklahoma City this year for March Madness.
and we're gonna have somebody on site then.
Oh, I'm going to drive up if it is. That might be just a day trip, like drive up in the morning and just straight back. I'd miss other games, but I think it'd be
Man, the walk-ons having somebody on site for the Hawks to make the Sweet 16 would be great.
But then like we'll go to Albany or something now that I'm like close by to a spot potentially. So who knows?
Wesley promptly points out that it would take me, I'm assuming he's talking about me, about a whole calendar year to drink $100 worth of booze. And by my calculations, it would probably take me closer to 2 years at the rate that I drink. I think I counted because Lauren and I went to Kansas City for the volleyball national championship, had a nice margarita the night before at the steak dinner we went to. And I believe that was my 4th drink of the year. And I think they were all either glasses of wine or margaritas that I got at restaurants, $10 to $12 to maybe $14 a drink. So yeah, I go through $100 of booze in about 2 calendar years at this rate.
What makes you? First of all, it depends what you order. You can go through $100 booze in one order if you want.
Sure.
But what makes you decide, like, as a person who doesn't drink, say, you know what, I will have a cocktail. I'll have a glass of wine today. Like, what gives you the impulse?
Yeah, it's pretty much just directly aligned with when Lauren and I get like a celebratory date night out. And not
but as
that
someone who doesn't drink, like, is that a reason to like you celebrate by drinking? Yeah.
I do it more to participate with her.
Okay.
I like a glass of red wine. I sent you the I lied. I had a glass of wine at Christmas. The Camus. So I actually had 5 drinks this year. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I like a glass of red wine. I like a margarita. Those are like my 2 go-to drinks. If Lauren's like, yeah, let's we go to a nice steak dinner where, we went to Kansas City for a weekend away from the kids. That may be a cause for celebration, like a weekend away from the kids. That only happens like once or twice a year. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty random and just like, it's usually Lauren looks at me and goes, you gonna get a margarita? And then it's just, if I'm feeling spicy, you know what? I might get me a margarita.
See, if you like red wine, I'm kind of surprised that you went margarita at a steak dinner. Like red wine and steak.
Red wine and steak, that's a combo.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's like
Something about that
and
day,
ramen,
or
like, that's
yeah,
just
something
combo.
about that day was like, I don't know. I was already looking at the menu ahead of time, and I was like focused, kind of fixated on the margarita. The steak was,
It's call internet.
yeah, it was whatever. We are sponsored still in the new year by FanDuel. Shout out to them, and shout out to my daughter who might be watching this right now. Sometimes the only time that she will detach from me on the nights that we podcast is we'll tell her that she can turn the live stream on and watch Dad. So Kinley, if you're watching, be good for Mom. Go to sleep. I love you. Jordan probably points out that Camus is good wine. It is good wine. The boys went through how many bottles in Vegas, Kev? 6 bottles in a dinner?
At least, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
maybe
what,
8.
Well, I forget. There was like 12 people there, so probably at least.
I thought about your dad the other day when the Camus got busted out. No more effing bones. Somehow we ordered like 3 bone marrow appetizers at that meal at Kevin's bachelor party, and it was,
I mean,
God, it's one of the best meals of my life.
that was phenomenal. I don't know. They really didn't explain that well at all. Like everyone thought it was like a topping for their steak is to get some like bone marrow on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and I'll have the bone marrow with that too. They bring out 6 cow femurs.
they murdered an entire pasture when we went to this meal. It was unbelievable. Doc in the YouTube says, "Closet Ole Miss fan excited?" ? I don't think Kevin's a closet Ole Miss fan. I think he's just like openly.
I think I was a closeted Ole Miss fan because I couldn't say this beforehand. I never liked Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
But now I think this new guy Pete Golden, I think he's the real deal. And hotty toddy, let's go.
How do we feel about the game the other day where they were down most of it?
I mean, they've just got a lot of weapons, and I really think they can compete with anybody out there. Like at any point, they're never too far out of a game. But the thing is, like from the times I've watched them, is there's several occasions where they've really played down their opponent, but when they're on point, like they can play with anybody in the country.
Yeah, they're
dangerous. I think Ohio State losing helps. I think they match up a lot better versus Miami than they do Ohio State.
That's the most surprising thing.
Grant, I want to hear from you.
I can't
after a massive weekend of ball, right? Miami and Ohio State, they had their own night, and then the other 3 games that played out. Obviously, we'll talk about it. The Indiana-Alabama game. I think everybody in the Big Ten world was hoping Indiana would handle them. I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
That was just
beautiful. Oh my God. What was it like as just a pure lover of ball to watch a quarterfinal weekend in the playoffs, G-Bone?
I thought it was a pretty good weekend of football. Besides the Miami Ohio State thing, I almost went to the game. I was very tempted. Like ticket prices dropped immensely beforehand
because that was at the Cowboys Stadium.
Yeah, it was at the Cotton Bowl. I guess it
like
was. It was the Cotton Bowl. It wasn't at the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl is where they do Red River, but
like the morning of, you checked, and what were they?
$45.
Oh, dude, really?
And a week ago, so this was like my, again, like.
Are you within like Ubering distance of the stadium?
What do you define Ubering distance?
I mean, it's not going to cost you more than
$45 to get there.
No, so that was the issue. This is like a week ago, I had some friends, and we are like, again, it says that like I don't really like the chaos of like going out on New Year's. A lot of times, I'm like, what if we just went to the Cotton Bowl? Like none of our teams are in it, but like, hey, what if we just went?
Yeah,
tickets were like $550 a week ago. We were like, okay, there's just no way. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But then they dropped a ton because no one was buying them, I guess, because they're $550. But then the issue was getting there and back was going to be like $200+ of Ubers. And then like, you're going to a drink or two at the stand. Like it ended up being a more expensive trip possible. But I guess I do know people that did go, and they said that it was like shockingly empty in there.
Really?
Like it's just, I think a lot of fans are kind of like banking on their team getting to a semi.
The next one.
Yeah, like I think this is the least appealing round for fans of the teams because they either want to go to their home playoff game,
fair, yeah,
or like a semi. I think is a big deal,
yeah,
right? And then the championship's a championship, obviously, but
yeah, I think you have a point there, especially for the teams that don't have a bye,
right?
So like Miami, for instance. But especially if you played a home game first, like you'd be more excited for the home game. You'd be more excited for the semifinal. Yeah. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. How bad?
I was looking at national championship tickets just in case. Want to guess what the lowest ticket's going for right now?
Get in price of the Natty right now.
I'm gonna guess it's in Miami.
In Miami.
Okay. I'm gonna guess
$700.
Stadium's smaller than you think it is, so I'm gonna guess like 950. Up 15? Not that far up. 2,000?
What?
3?
5?
4?
$2,500. Keep this ticket on SeatGeek.
Okay, but remember what I just told you though. So like,
yeah.
So I think Miami still being in play has a lot to do with that. So if Ole Miss were to win, they beat Miami. Maybe we get ticket prices to come down significantly.
That's insane.
I actually have a bone.
I feel like if Indiana wins, like they're having a great year. Fan base is really excited. Still don't have a huge fan base. They're in a state, a modestly sized state that competes with 2 other universities. But Oregon, like that's literally all the way across the country. They've also never won a national championship. So I'm not sure who winning that other game would influence tickets
prices
up or down.
Yeah, I mean, losing Ohio State, and then you lost Georgia, you lost Alabama this weekend. Like a lot of the quote unquote like ticket drivers went out, but you're probably right that it's Miami right now is keeping the price up so much.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone in the greater Miami area is probably like there's a lot of money down there too. It's like, oh, it's cool. Like the Miami team's here, we'll go.
Yeah.
And
You got to imagine like how many, like you said, there's a lot of money. How many businesses are like, yeah, screw it, we'll buy 6 tickets.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
We'll buy 10, like, and then that kind of, you never know with like those ticket websites either. I got a bone to pick actually with SeatGeek. I'm not going to tell the whole story. It was during that national championship volleyball thing. I'll tell it on maybe taglines because it actually had a happy ending. Not that kind, but
I was gonna say I think you're using SeatGeek wrong. If that was
that's
a different app. That would make a lot of sense that app didn't work. That's just not. That's just not. That's just
you
not
didn't
what
know
happens
about it. You didn't know about the other features on the app. But it does take us into the part of the conversation where the Final Four of the college football playoff is. I hesitate so far as to say like, oh, see. Rev share and paying the players is like in full effect. The parity is here, right? You still got Oregon, Miami is historically they have some tenure there and being good at football. Indiana, obviously a wild story, and then of course Hotty Toddy. I feel like they're the Cinderella maybe with just the coach leaving and.
I mean,
it's the funniest possible.
It is the funniest possible scenario is the coach leaves and they end up winning a national championship. And I think everyone's rooting for them for that fact. I also feel like Indiana's got a lot of fans out there.
Would it be hilarious if they won though?
No, it wouldn't be hilarious.
No, it wouldn't be hilarious.
It would be impressive, but it would not be hilarious.
The turnaround of the program would be an awesome story.
It's an all-time sports story.
Yeah.
So here's a question then.
But I gotta imagine, people are like pulling for Ole Miss just because of Lane Kiffin.
I would love for those two to win the semis, and then I don't care who wins the championship. It would just be great either way. Kevin will obviously be wearing a Trinidad Chambliss jersey, but.
Man, Trinidad Chambliss, dude. That guy.
Dude, he's cold, man.
Fires me up, dude. Question for Indiana, though, and for you guys. I think even regardless, like let's say they lose at some point now this season, I think you could make the argument that he's already potentially one of the best coaching hires in the sport ever.
Yeah. I mean, sure, why not? He took a program who
historically one of the worst.
Never had a first round draft pick and has made it to a bowl game. Well, I mean,
before the other day, the last time they won a bowl game was 67.
There you go. Yeah. One of the worst losing percentages in the Power 4 conference.
So then,
and he takes that program in, year one goes you go 10-2.
I think he went 11-1 with only losses
Ohio State. Weak schedule aside from that, loses to a good Notre Dame team first round. Mm-hmm. And then everyone's like, okay, good team. We still don't know because they played 2 good teams and they got beat pretty good by both of them. Year 2 runs the table and beats several teams that we know for a fact are damn good football teams.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question anymore that Indiana is the best team in college football this year.
I think after the bowl games, Indiana has 7 wins against teams with 9 or more wins.
Yeah, I saw that tweet as well.
Yeah, 2 of those are Old Dominion's in there or something like that.
Have you seen Old Dominion? Old Dominion this year was nasty.
And their quarterback's on his way to Wisconsin.
I know. Right? I'm not happy about that. But
we're going to talk about the portal here in a second.
I think Old Dominion actually played him tough. Now that I think about it,
they did.
It was not that big of a beat.
Well, that was because everyone was like, "Oh, here's the Indiana we come to know like, oh yeah, these guys actually stink.
We said it on this show early in
very
the
good.
year. We're like, yeah, they're going to be good, but they won't be what they were last year. I remember saying that.
They were
But yeah,
200 to
I
1 to
think-
start the season for the national title.
Yeah, we did, and we had that game as a toss up, and we played them close. But I not a betting odds connoisseur, but I know they're the favorite to win it among the last 4, and I don't think, given what we know now, that they'd be an underdog to any other team in the country on a neutral field.
I agree. Odds, Kevin, you mentioned they are the favorite at plus 130. Oregon at plus 310, which is interesting that you have them in the semifinal, and yet they are still both 1-2 to win the Natty. Then you have Miami plus 330 right behind Oregon, and Ole Miss at plus 570 on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
I mean, I don't hate the value of the Ole Miss bet.
I don't either.
5 to 1.
Yeah.
I really don't hate it. They're
Lay
a
down
3.5 point dog versus Miami. Like, that's an easily winnable game.
Yep.
Then you just never know.
Over
It's
under
only-
51.5 for Miami Ole Miss. 3.5 point favorite is Miami. Oregon game is a Oregon's
I
plus
honestly think Ole
4.5.
Miss is the best value bet there. Everybody.
I would agree. Watching Miami play Ohio State was actually impressive though. Like that was, you're like, ooh.
After they threw that pick, I think it was down 14-0, I want to say. I was like, this is over. Like they have no pulse. There's no hope in this building. Like Miami has complete control of the game.
Yeah.
Their defense has been solid, I will say, this year. But it is fun that right now, like a month ago, the narrative was like, do we let the ACC get any teams? Like they're that bad. Like the ACC's been terrible. And I'm not saying like some of the other ACC teams did not struggle this year, but a team that did not make the ACC championship goes to Texas A&M, beats them, goes to the Cotton Bowl, beats Ohio State, who a lot of people thought was really the best team in the country. And then now they're very realistically have a chance to go to the national championship game.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It just makes me like I didn't watch Miami a whole lot this year.
Mhm.
It's like, how did they drop those 2 games in the middle of the season?
I have no idea. And they didn't look good in either of those games.
Right.
At all.
So like I'm eating some of my words here from I think maybe a year or 2 years ago when we were talking about playoff expansion. Like, yeah, expand it to whoever you want. I don't see anyone outside the top 6 ever making or winning it. Right.
That's the whole thing. Is like, and that's a national narrative too, Kev, is like, okay, we can expand it as much as you want, but like number 11 can't win it. And Miami's kind of like, ooh, they were in conversation to maybe not make it. And I think you run it enough times in the simulator, they might win it a couple times, 5 to 1.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bet against them at this point. I mean,
Do you think this is parity of big players?
The next 2 games are going to be really tough games for all 4 teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got tight spreads here, and
Tight.
This is tight. This is playoff football, man. You're going to get every team's best shot. So,
Do you think that this Final Four is a representation of paying players?
I mean,
Spread.
a little bit, right? Miami put a ton of money in their program.
Yeah.
Like they've got a bunch of big transfers because of that.
And Indiana did as well.
Indiana's funding has gone through the roof.
Mhm.
Ole Miss's pockets solid, but they're not that deep compared to some of the other SEC schools out there.
Yeah.
And then Oregon, we know, just
Oregon is the deepest. Oregon, I think, is the deepest in the country, actually.
I would say it's NIL.
I think Texas Tech had the most expensive roster this year.
Oh,
Did they?
by far, yeah.
Yeah,
And that was that performance was
Maybe they should have bought an offense.
something. What's crazy is their offense was good, like all year. It was totally fine.
Did you see the oil tweet?
I saw that tweet. It was so funny.
God, man, that was good.
Is this
It's just,
is this bad for Texas Tech?
so one of the best accounts on all of Twitter. And if you're listening to this podcast or watching, first of all, if you're watching, thumbs up, like, subscribe, helps the channel. We would love to reach 5,000 subscribers here early in 2026. There is a message board genius account on Twitter, and they go around and they get sent a bunch of the forums of all the fan bases. And there was one from Texas Tech today, and I'm going to botch it. I really, Grant, if you could find it, maybe. It was something along the lines of, does this Venezuela stuff affect us? Is it like, and it was referenced
donor money is oil money.
Yeah.
This is gonna just crash the price.
Like
of oil.
now the oil market's going to be
pumping
way
more
cheaper, and like we're not going to have as much of an effect in recruiting and NIL because our oil money doesn't have as much power. Hilarious, man.
Is it from yesterday or?
It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, this. Okay, I'm just gonna this. I'd be pretty surprised if this wasn't it. So, this does Venezuela stuff affect us? Texas Tech ? With all the new access to oil reserves, I wonder if oil prices will come crashing down more than they already have. Short term, huge opportunity for the to the current incarnation of Double Eagle. I guess it's hard to know, but just crazy news. Is that what?
That was it.
Okay.
Imagine Texas Tech.
You wake up to us taking the leader of a foreign country and think, how does this affect my college football?
Son of a bitch. Do we not have as much power as we used to? What's funny is it could be like some very small percentage of like actual truth to it.
Back to your question though, Kluv. I think it's a well-known thing that SEC was paying their players under the table for a long time. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of schools out there too.
Coach O went out there and said it on Bussin'. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But
Orgeron went on Bussin' with the boys, and I don't know how they brought it up, but he was telling a story, yada yada, and he goes, we used to just walk through the back door with the money. Now we just walk through the front. That was the quote, and it went all over the place on social media because he was just openly admitting, like they used to have to hide when they would pay guys. I still remember when we came out, Kev. That sounded like we were coming out as gay together, which
yeah, guys would go on visits and there'd be a manila envelope with $10,000.
Yeah, there's $5,000 laying on their hotel room of their on their visit.
Yeah,
which is now hilarious because that's guys would be like $5,000. Bro, they pay me openly $500. It's like, it's crazy. So
on your question though, you're like, does this reflect NIL? I would say yes in many ways, but also I feel like it's more portal than NIL.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean
it's the combo. Yeah. Because that's the thing is one is gasoline, the other one is kind of the
Venezuela. Oh.
I don't know if the other one's Venezuela.
I don't know. It's what.
But the deal, like
Genius told me,
like
it has to be true.
Being able to pay players would not be as powerful and effective if the portal rules weren't what they were. Like if you had to,
if you still had to, go to battle with your 30 high school recruits that you get every year, and that's about it. Yeah, if 100% it would.
If there was still a one-time, like when you transferred, you'd have to sit a year. Like that wouldn't.
Correct.
No one's paying.
And that's part of the reason why Cignetti could have such success is he brought half of JMU with him, and then they saw he gets a damn good coach, and he gets another great portal class, and there you go.
And they signed 3 big recruits today.
So should we be nervous then about UCLA next year then? If history is repeating itself, Bob Chesney, former JMU coach, going to UCLA, just bringing JMU with him.
Did he stay there after Cignetti left, or
he was the coach there for 1 year, and then 2 years.
But was he part of Cignetti's staff when he was there?
No,
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say no. Wasn't he like coaching D2 or Holy Cross or something?
No idea.
Okay.
The
I think I've come to the realization that there's more parity in college football for about 20 teams.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot harder for everyone outside of that. Maybe call it 25 teams.
I was gonna say I think Iowa actually slips in there right at the back end.
Sure. Yeah. There's tiers to that, but I think there'll be more parity 1 through 25. 30 and beyond, like
it might be worse.
It's worse for sure. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of schools.
Because you're going to become feeder programs.
Well, and this is not a shit on Iowa State show intentionally, although
But I mean, like let's go to the college football playoff for the previous 10 years, like the first 10 years, it was always Alabama and Clemson
every year.
Georgia got in there. You had a pretty good idea of who was going to be in that bitch going into the year. And now you can make a case for 20 teams going into a year.
Yeah. No, I agree. Iowa State is an example of a team that's probably on the bottom side of that line when the whole coaching switch.
No doubt, for sure.
When their coaching switch went on, Pollard.
I mean, the entire Big 12, unless you have huge donors with the oil money, like they just don't get as much revenue as a conference. I don't know if there's any school that's maxing out their house settlement like allocation.
That's what I was going to say.
$20 million from the school's coffers, instead of just NIL money. But I think pretty much every Big Ten school is. I'm not going to say every Big Ten school, but I know every Big Ten school has the ability to do that.
Pollard said when he was talking about it that they're right around like 13 million, which is like 1 to 2 short of what Big Ten programs are doing and SEC programs. And yeah, if you're not Texas Tech or BYU as a Big 12 school, you're just not this like. Schools, these ADs and these schools have to consider their financial situation. It's such huge money. You can't just put your school in debt with no plan to get out of it.
Yeah, they're not the federal government. They don't just get to run deficits year on end.
Yeah, you can't do that. So it is interesting to see that they are becoming a bit of a feeder program, and you are quite literally seeing that happen in real time with Iowa State as their entire roster announces that they're committed to Penn State today, basically. And we're going to get to that in a second. Iowa in the portal has had a couple, and you knew there was going to be, right?
Yeah, that's even the best teams, the best culture teams. Like in this day and age, you can love it, but you're like, hey, man, I'm buried on this depth chart right now, and it's just not going to happen for me. I need to go play somebody somewhere. So, I mean, it's going to happen every team every year. You're going to lose people.
Commit wise, we did get one this afternoon, a Villanova defensive back, 6'3", 180 pounds. I believe he was a FCS All-American this past season. Anthony Hawkins, I believe corner.
Hell yeah. 6'3" corners. I love that.
Yeah. He's going to join. He might actually it says safety. So who knows? Maybe Lutmer switches to corner. I don't know what our plans are with him, but we got him today. He committed. And I believe that we either have or are expected to have a commit from the North Dakota State kicker to replace Stevens. North Dakota State kicker went 16 of 18 last year. Obviously,
in a dome.
They play outside a lot too, though, in that conference.
Yeah,
and he played for Coach Polasek, so he knows what that kind of culture looks like. So I like that commit if we get that one as well. Those are the only two on coming in. On the way out, and I kind of want to briefly touch on these situations. Like you said, Kev, you're buried on a depth chart, not so crazy that you see them enter. Obviously, Reese Dakin was the first one. That one is purely he came to Iowa for LeVar. He's going to go. He announced today he's going to Michigan State. He's following Coach Woods. There's just no surprise there.
That hurts a little bit. I mean, he had a great game. He had a great bowl game
the other day.
His season was kind of up and down, I feel like.
80th in the country when all was said and done. So he was never going to be Tory. Really, nobody is. He was not as good as you'd hope he would be maybe in year 2. Kale Kolarek out of Indianola is a 4th year, and he is a safety that was buried on the depth chart. Played some special teams, but he's going to go somewhere else. Not really a huge loss for the Hawkeyes. Jazz Patterson. That one hurts. Just because we had him on the show, he's got really good reps.
It's just not surprising, man. It's a crowded backfield with a lot of talent.
Stacked room.
Yeah.
Stacked room. And honestly, this is a guy in Jazz who a lot of people thought would enter last year at this time. And it was sort of when we looked up in the summer and you're like, yeah, we still have Jazz. I remember I was like, wow, we were able to keep him, huh? He was the guy I mentioned all year about how we were able to keep for 2025 because of the swarm money. Like kind of that stuff on top of the rev share. And good dude, gave a lot to the Hawkeyes. And I think Jazz could go start somewhere, like not small. I think he could be a starting back at at a very competitive school.
I mean, he can go play in the Big Ten elsewhere for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Terrell Washington Jr. was another back who got a little bit of time this year when guys were hurt early in the season, but another running back that's just in a stacked stable. You got to remember we're recruiting new running backs too that are going to come in and potentially pass those guys up. Jackson Stratton is in the portal. Iowa legend.
Damn.
Sorry, I thought my mic was muted. Sorry about that.
Wish him the best. Obviously, that's just a pretty self-explanatory situation. And then the one that sort of actually is a little surprising is Brian Allen, defensive end.
I was very surprised by that.
He was a significant contributor over the last couple of years and was going to be a big-time guy in the rotation on our D line. And he goes into the portal. He's our highest ranked portal entry as far as his grade right now in 2026. And the word is, I have no confirmation of this. This is what I've seen. Could be somebody just making it up. Is that the young Epinesa passed him up in bowl prep. And that was actually a little bit confirmed maybe with the reps that he got in the bowl game.
I mean, we got what? Herkett and Llewellyn are both done, no?
Gone, right? You'd think that there's still room.
There's playing time to be opened up here.
You would think. And it could be a situation where he just thinks he's done enough to where maybe he can go get paid more than what they're going to pay him to stay. Every team's going to have some. He's been a great Hawkeye too. We're happy for what he did in the black and gold, and wish him the best. But that right there is 6 guys in the portal right now for the Iowa Hawkeyes, which is pretty damn good considering the state of college football right now.
Yeah, it's like 31% of players are in the portal right now.
Something crazy like
That's
that.
crazy.
37% of all players are in the portal.
I think it was 31, but not that that's that better, but just,
I think the stat was there's whatever number of guys are in the portal is equivalent to 31% of Division I college football. It's not all D1 guys who are in the portal, but if you were to fill all of those guys into a spot, it would take up just under a third of Division I spots. That includes D2 guys, JUCO guys. I guess there's probably a lot of D3 guys in the portal. I don't know. How does that work?
one of the D3
FCS
game
guys.
is on right now. One guy just made a ridiculous catch, and we need to put him in contact with Brad Heinrichs immediately. That was like that. It was one of the most absurd things I've ever seen.
I saw actually before this, we offered a Kent State wide receiver who's the 26th rated wide receiver in the portal. We also offered a wide receiver out of a college that I didn't even know was a thing until I saw this. University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley.
Oh yeah, UTRG baby, stand up.
Do you know what their mascot is, Grant?
Aren't they like there's starts with the G?
The Vaqueros.
The Vaqueros. I like that a lot though. Fun color scheme at UTRG.
Great color scheme. So we've offered a couple guys. No, not really going after any high profile targets there. Got the DB from Villanova. Obviously, there will be more that happens. It is January 4th as it stands right now. The portal is open from January 2nd through the 16th, which is interesting because the national championship isn't until the 19th. So for anybody on a national championship roster, you're basically saying if you're not getting playing time and you don't like your situation, you have to leave your team before you play in the Natty and already be committed to your next team, which maybe speaks to one of the problems with the window, the season, the calendar year of how and when we play the national championship, when the portal opens. I don't know how to fix any of it. I do think there's an episode. I was laying in bed awake a couple nights ago thinking, how would I fix college football? I think that might be a fun episode. And yeah, I was doing well. Iowa State not doing well. Penn State is now the Penn State Cyclones. And I don't know. That's about all I have else to say. Any other exciting stuff out of the portal that you've seen, Grant?
I think isn't that D tackle from Tulsa visiting? Is that happening?
Maybe. We also got a visit from couple comments earlier in the show. We're talking about how I believe Tyler Barnes and Seth Goat Wallace were at the basketball game last night. Big win. The Hawkeyes versus the UCLA Bruins.
Great one.
And we had a guy from Elon, a DN from Elon. I hit up Nick DeMarco and said, "Hey, is this guy good?" And Nick's direct words were, hold on. DeMarco said, "Yeah, he's a fucking weapon." So hopefully we can get that guy. I know Purdue offered him as well, but I think the only two schools that were sort of really interested in him were us and Purdue. You'd like to think we could grab that one, but who knows?
Oh, we're missing a big one.
Who?
Casper.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Kyler Casper is in the portal. I don't know if he's coming to Iowa.
I don't know where. I'd welcome him with open arms, but I'm not expecting him to.
So here's the thing: I retweeted his entry into the portal, and I just said, "Fulfill the legacy."
Sure.
That comes with a caveat of we cannot pay him hardly anything. One, because he's not proven. He's injury prone. He's had injuries over at Oregon. That's been part of why he hasn't played a lot, but he just got buried on that depth chart. And I don't know. It sounds like the two higher possibilities for him are either going home to Arizona State and playing there near where he's from, or Kevin, his dad, and LeVar are good buddies, and potentially following Coach Woods up to Michigan State. You would think maybe we're third there, but I don't know if he's even gotten that far in his considerations. You'd like to think that he knows where he's going. The crazy thing with the portal nowadays is, I hope you know where you're going. I hope you've tampered on your own or somebody has tampered with you, because if you haven't, your college football days are over, buddy.
You've got 2 weeks to find a home, right?
I mean, like,
otherwise you're looking around like the Pulp Fiction memes.
The stats aren't good.
Vincent
It's something like 60 or 70% of guys who enter the portal never find a spot.
It's not good.
It's bad. So you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be real careful. Before I forget, let's do a quick little read for our fantastic partners over at Graze Gourmet to Go. Had a comment that I'm going to base this off of. John Martin here on X. The next ad you read for Graze is going to kill me. Went there for the first time the day of the Oregon game. Everything was incredible, but I've been craving the dim sum green beans ever since that day. I've been considering an 8-hour road trip just for lunch.
So
that's all you need to hear.
I think 8 hours is pretty appropriate for Graze. So that's completely reasonable.
We only partner with establishments that would warrant an 8-hour trip for a single meal. And Graze Gourmet to Go, as you hear from John Martin there, is your place the next time you need an unbelievably delicious meal. Chicken lips, sourdough pizza, dim sum green beans, street tacos. And you go in there, and Pete and Kim will be your best friends by the time you leave. They're the friendliest people. You can catch our Hawks by a Million flag up in there. I think Kevin and Drake have both signed it. I think maybe I've signed it as well. I can't remember.
I think Josie Jewell has signed it.
Josie might have signed it. I'd let Josie sign anything. And we're excited to partner with Graze moving forward. They've been incredible. Everybody that's gone in there has been incredible. And Kevin made a fantastic decision just this past fall when we were all back for the Oregon game, getting two massive trays of delicious chicken lips for the tailgate. 3 massive trays. It might have been wet, but the Graze chicken lips made it worth it that day. Shout out to Graze.
I will say, coming up, if you want to host a Super Bowl party, watch the Denver Broncos get there, playing likely great game in Santa Clara. Graze.
What do you think I served for New Year's Day?
Was it Graze?
Of course.
Okay,
Love that.
there we go.
Easy choice. Ruley earlier in the show said Jaguars over Broncos, Grant. I haven't had a chance to rub it in until now.
Hey, strategic loss. We needed it for film. We needed it for tape. Can't reveal too much. But hey, I mean, sitting here, I'm the 1 seed. So we couldn't have done better.
How do you can you give me your feelings, right? You're the number one, the Broncos of Denver.
Yeah, me specifically. Just Grant Allen is the number 1 seed in the AFC this year.
You guys, you represent them. You are the number 1 seed in the NFL on one side of the NFL right now. How does that feel entering the postseason?
It feels good. It's better than I thought we were going to do. Apologize for nothing. I don't care if we're 3 points better than every single team. It's still wins or wins. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's not like college football where it's like, well, how badly did you beat these teams? It's just, did you beat them or not? And I'm going to really enjoy Wild Card Weekend next week, and my team's not even going to be playing. So
maybe a time to get healthy, get some guys who are a litle banged up, a nice week of rest.
I think it's enough time to fly Josie in, get him the pads on, get him warmed up a little bit, and hopefully he can make a big contribution here for the playoffs.
Poor Josie, man. He leaves the Broncos, they start getting good. He leaves Carolina, they make the playoffs. Like, poor guy.
It doesn't look good, man. It doesn't. The optics are bad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grain here in the chat. Says, I'm bringing Kluv Graze next trip to Des Moines. Settled. Dude,
Graze,
count me in.
Spelled.
Yeah. I don't know if that autocorrected. It's AZE, like you're grazing on in a field. But I will take anything you bring back from Graze and definitely eat that. So if anybody wants to do that for me, shout out to you. What else is on the rundown here? I know. So Drake hopped in the other day while you guys were hosting some semi or quarterfinals parties. We did a little podcast recapping the bowl game. Kevin, I got your thoughts. Any thoughts on the bowl game, by the way, Grant? I know we're a week past that at this point, but
Flea Flicker, super cool. Vanami stock through the roof, and it's only going to get higher, so don't be afraid to invest now. And that's not real investment advice, just for legal purposes.
Or maybe it is.
I know I saw someone who's the dude from The Big Short, like Michael Burry or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And this happens like once a year, so I don't even know when this is real or not, but I saw like someone posted a photo of him and said like, oh, hey, this is he's predicting a big market dip here soon, whatever that means. But I just want to let everyone know that should not affect Vanami stock. You can still get in and it will be fine. So,
it will continue to go higher.
That was cool to see. I know I was just proud of the team. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good quality win. Like, bowl games are a little weird because I know guys sit out, and I'm not sure. It felt like this bowl game still meant a lot to both teams, so I'm gonna value it. And I think this is good for the off season. Maybe it's good in a lot of ways because I'm gonna feel really good now up until we play another football game. But I also could get semi-delusional. Come in like June, I'm just going to keep seeing flea flickers. I'm going to be watching some Gronowski runs, even though he's not going to be on the team. Like it'll be a fun offseason now.
Oh, we are going to thoroughly work through all of the great Gronowski film this offseason in our film episodes, which are going to be a feature of the Washed Up Walk-Ons moving forward, at least as long as we can continue to get it. That looks fine right now. If you are a Patreon subscriber, take a few minutes, just peruse around what the Patreon homepage looks like now. The membership is going to look a little bit different. If you are already subscribed at one of our, the previous structure that we've had, you're grandfathered in to all of those perks. However, there's been some shifting. We've added a couple things in the new year, and the structure looks a little bit different. Consider up or down a move from one tier to another. The tiers are now, they have new names. We got Hawk Team 6 up at the top, the Special Teams Unit, and then I believe the Walk-On Army is just the name of the basic tier. Appreciate everyone who checks that out, decides to continue subscribing, upping their subscription. You can get a percentage off that if you do annual, and you can join the army up there in the corner by scanning that QR code if you're watching the video. Kev, I'm concerned.
You're concerned.
You and I were special teams guys, right?
Yeah.
And we know that Coach Woods is leaving.
He's gone.
I hadn't exactly put all of this together until Drake kind of walked us through it the other day, me through it the other day unintentionally. There's turnover every year in every position room most of the time. It's not often when you lose your coordinator, who is obviously the head of the special teams room. You lose your kicker, your punter, your long snapper, your holder, and your consensus All-American returner in the same year. The Hawkeyes will be maybe the only team in that situation heading into 2026. We don't have a single one back. Caden Weechin is gone. Drew Stevens has graduated. Dakin is in the portal off to MSU. Ty Nissen was the backup punter, and he was our holder on PAT field goals. Bryant Worrell was a transfer from Boston College who handled all the long snapping duties this year. He's gone after his final year. And, of course, Coach Woods leaves to take the job in East Lansing. We are replacing every position and their coach. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. Not ideal. But if there's one room I had to rebuild from scratch, that'd be the room it would be.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some questions to answer.
Yeah, there's some questions to answer for sure.
It's not. I won't go as
we
far
got
as
we got a kicker, and I'm sure I'm not super familiar with the roster. I'm sure we have other kickers, so we can have a decent competition.
Yeah.
From the spring. How long does it take a snapper, holder, kicker operation to get used to each other? Kind of like how NFL teams always say when they hire or they nab a receiver in the trade deadline or whatever. Yeah. It's like, it takes them a little bit to get their timing down with the quarterback. Talk to me about that from a specialist perspective.
Yeah, I'm not gonna overplay that and say it's like, they need a year to do it. I would say they need a good 3 months.
So spring ball.
It's not gonna look
at least once a week throughout the summer, and then you got camp.
Yeah, it's not. I'll say this: it's not going to look super polished probably in spring ball. Like there's going to be some people who are like, "Yeah, we got some work to do," and that's okay. I'll just lay that out there right now. I would hope that by July 4th they come back from that July 4th holiday break. I would like to think that they've got it pretty dialed, assuming that, and this is why I'm a little bit worried. Iowa, Coach Ferentz, they said they're not worried about filling that role until the new year. It's the new year. They're all on break right now. I don't know if Coach Ferentz's plan is to elevate somebody. I was asked in the Discord, another perk of the Patreon subscription is our private Discord. I was asked in there if they were to elevate somebody right now on staff to the special teams coordinator role, who would I pick? My first two thoughts were KB or Abdul Hodge. I know KB is a weird one because he's a lineman. In 2013, Kev, he was with us on the special teams.
Yeah, I remember, but you want him to go from the D-line coach to the special teams coach?
Special teams coordinator.
Coordinator. Okay.
If he's looking to advance and become a coordinator, LeVar did a similar thing. He went from tight end. I know LeVar's a different guy, his background. KB was very knowledgeable about special teams.
KB is a great coach.
Abdul Hodge was my other one.
Yeah, I'm sure Abdul would do a great job too.
I'm not saying that I want them to leave their current positions. I was just, if I had to pick a guy. I don't know if they plan on hiring from within or if they're going to bring somebody else in or they're going to make somebody who is a GA or I don't know, an analyst. I have no idea. That person is going to have obviously a lot of pull and direction and say in who we bring in. Obviously, we've got the kicker. We don't have a punter. Both of them are gone. We need a punter. We need two punters. I think kicking-wise, we have a kid from Bettendorf maybe coming in this next class. So that would give us a backup kicker. we have Ike Speltz, who is from Van Meter, I believe. He's going to be entering his third season as a long snapper. I think he should be okay at the snapper position. There was talk of Lutmer taking over for Caden Weechin. I wouldn't mind seeing that. They're going to find somebody there. But there's just a lot of questions to answer. And Iowa is special teams. Special teams is Iowa. And I don't want that to go away.
So what coach gets a free trip to Perth, Australia now to go look for a new punter?
I'm telling you, man, that's a good part of what made LeVar so good is he was willing to go do that, and he was excited to go do stuff like that. He was a great recruiter. He is a great recruiter. Whoever steps in is going to have to be willing to do that and with excitement. I don't know who that is. I want Kevin to go do it. I'm still campaigning.
The phone hasn't rang yet, so I think they're going to pass on my resume.
Fuck.
You say some things in a public forum, and you have to react to things that Drake Kulik says in a public forum. It kind of limits your career.
It's really just Drake's fault. We can just blame it on that.
Yeah, it's Drake's fault.
Is what it is.
Here's a thing for you, Kluv.
Yeah.
You could have the special teams coordinator job today, but
Here we go.
you'd have to go back and you'd have to be like a GA or you just work some really, like, I hesitate to say crap jobs, but long hours, low pay.
It's grindy.
Grinding jobs for the last, how long have we been out? 10 years?
8 years.
How would you feel about that career path?
You're saying that I'm guaranteed the special teams coordinator in 8 years from right now?
No. Like, we just graduated.
Oh, you're taking me back to 2018.
Yeah. You spent the last 8 years as a special teams analyst or whatever.
So the summer that you spent as a strength conditioning intern, I actually stayed with the program too. We're still living in Benton.
Naturally.
And we still don't have air conditioning.
Naturally.
And I'm with, I'm GAing up, with like Coach Woods or whatever.
Sure.
No.
I don't believe you. I'll be honest.
I guess if at the
time
I
could see you again with it,
if at the time you are guaranteeing me you can stay here for 8 years, Coach, in 2025, I'm from the future. Coach Woods is going to move on, and the job is 100% yours. Yeah, then probably yes. Yeah. But that's just such a wild hypothetical where with way too much guaranteed that would, because before that point, Kev, like you said, it is grindy.
Yeah, it is incredibly long hours for very little.
Kevin's agent's still waiting for the call. Yep.
Who is my agent? Grant, you want to be my agent?
Nate Kading is
yes, but I have the NIL agent percentages, so I'm gonna need.
Wow,
it's gonna be real stiff.
20%, huh?
20%.
Wow,
check it out.
Eating it in the shorts here. I think Nate Kading would be a great special teams coordinator if he wasn't making so much money doing other stuff.
Yeah. Where you don't have to drive all over and recruit people. Another comment in here for like Desmond King. Again, I think Desmond is obviously a great player, was a great returner, knows a lot about special teams, knows a lot about being a DB.
He'll be a great coach.
Someday.
This is not an entry-level job.
Yeah, you don't just jump right to Power 4 D1 special teams coordinator at the place that's known for special teams when you've never coached anything before.
Yeah, you've got to do your time, and we just joked about how crap work you get as a GA, but you've got to put your time in and do that. Yeah. You've got to learn how to be a coach underneath someone for a little bit before you get that type of responsibility. It's learn how to recruit too. Like you got to step in and be able to go and recruit high school players.
Yeah. It's not just the knowledge of the X's and O's. It's so much more.
I'd like for him to coach something on the team, maybe like supervisor morale, maybe some kind of lower position but important position, maybe. develop.
I wouldn't.
coming up.
I have
mean,
nothing.
I would love for him to come back and be part of the program for a little bit. Like I said, like
I'm not saying he has to be the
even
defensive coordinator
Woods,
tomorrow.
he spent 8 years in the league. He was a GA for a little bit.
I was just going to say,
that's fine.
If you think back to I think we did an interview 2 summers ago with Liddell Betts, and I'm pretty sure I remember him saying he called coach when he decided he wanted to get into coaching. He was thinking about taking a high school job or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Coach Woods, Liddell Betts, way more name pull than me or Kevin or Desmond has a lot of pull. They're on the same level. But what Coach Ferentz told him was, hey, I'm here if you need anything. Get in at the high school level, work your way up. If there's ever, if it ever works out down the line, we'd love to have you back. Brady, we are talking about, somebody said they were throwing out special teams coordinator possibilities. Someone said Desmond King. And we said, yeah, that'd be great if he went and got a bunch of coaching experience and sort of worked his way up through the other stuff of being a coach. Added to Goat Wallace's plate. He helps with the special teams. Make no, there's no doubt about that. As the assistant D coordinator and assistant coach, probably a little too much to also throw on special teams coordinator as well. He's getting ready to be a head coach. He's got other shit to worry about. That's all I got.
Okay.
It's good to see you guys again.
Brady, you had an excellent tweet the other day.
Yeah, I actually showed it the other day when me and Drake were on here. We appreciate you guys. Obviously, again, check out that patreon.com/Washed Up Walk-Ons. We will continue to bang out content here in the new year. We're going to talk college football playoff, Iowa men's basketball and women's basketball, both in the top 25 right now. Exciting stuff to talk there. And we will start dabbling into the guest interviews for the offseason. Thank you guys for being here.